What's up? I'm gonna teach you how to assemble your Rubik's 5x5 cube. So that's how you pop it apart. Just turn to the sides and pull on it. Comes apart really easy. Um, so I recorded all of this and then I found out that it has no audio. So forgive me. I just have to do voiceover because I'm not gonna try and re-record the entire thing. I already did re-record the entire thing because the first one was garbage and now this one has no audio. Oh, you'll still learn. So the way that I'm gonna teach you is a bit different because it's not like anything with weird with like CDs or anything. This you don't need anything. You need your cube. So sort all of them. That's what I did. I sorted all the pieces out into different. Like this is one of the edges. It's a kind of an asymmetrical edge, and then has a corner. Then has a symmetrical edge. These are the 5 pieces of the cube, by the way. Then has like an inner edge that's straight and an inner edge that's bent. So those are the 5 parts. I sorted out all the inner pieces into those piles there by color, as you can see, and the edges are not sorted anyway. So the first step of assembling your cube is you take one of the straight edges and then 2 of the curvy edges like that, and then you kind of put them together. You'll be able to see that they kind of fit together like that, and they make a kind of semicircle type thing. So you make that, and then you're going to make another one. So like that. So now I have 2 of the same kind of semicircle things. And then you put one of your straight edges in there like that. So you have kind of a little circle, or square I mean. Then you're going to put your core into it, as I demonstrate. And you'll notice that I'm putting the wrong color in there, so just don't do that. But I fix it later on, I noticed. But yeah, you just make kind of like you have your core and you just kind of box it in with all the inner edges of whatever color you're starting with. I'm starting with white. So you do that, and you just seal it off like that. And the next step is to take all of your edges, pretty much all your white edges, and take them out, the inner and the side edge pieces. Then you're going to piece them together kind of like you did with the inner pieces of the white. You'll be able to see that they fit together. It's pretty easy. This assembling is pretty easy. It's just kind of weird if you don't know how. But anyway, you put them together like so. Then you're going to put it on there. It's really about all there is for this step. This is step 3, I think. Anyway, you can do that for all of them. Put them together and stick them in. And once you have that, you're going to put in the corners. So the corners, it's really easy to tell how those fit into because they kind of have like a triangular groove in the thing. And they just kind of drop in there. So there, now you have your entire first layer done. And the first step of the second layer is to take one of the straight edge pieces, or the straight inner pieces, and then you're going to put it in there underneath the center. You can just kind of set it on the side and then slide it in. Just make sure that the center's like straight. Makes it a lot easier. And also, if it's like really everything keeps falling apart, just kind of hang in there and keep fixing it, because once you get probably like 2 or 3 layers in, it's not like that anymore. But yeah, you do that for all of them. Put in the little thing. And then the next step after that is to put in the pieces that'll go right there and right there. So it's the curvy inner pieces. And you just want to make sure that they go like back in there and hook in. Yeah, just make sure that that part that sticks out is like pointing the right way. Otherwise, it won't fit in them right. So once you have this, you're gonna put in the corners there. It's pretty easy. They just kind of drop in. You just have to make sure that when you're putting in the edges, you put the right one. Like, I think that's what I'm showing here. Is that they're asymmetrical, and so you want that the piece that sticks out, you want it to be pointing like straight up into the air. Otherwise, it doesn't go right. Because there's two of those edges, and they look the same until you realize that they're not. So I don't know why this is in fast forward. It's not supposed to be. My bad. Anyway, but the step after you get all of those edges in is you put in the little curvy pieces around the centers, but leave those two out so you can put in the edge. I don't know. It should be. This is all pretty easy, so I'm not too worried about it. Just kind of stick those in, the curvy pieces, as you can see, and then just go ahead and leave those two curvy pieces out though, because it makes it a lot easier later on to put in the edge. So you can see you just kind of can snap in the edge, but be careful because like it always tries to knock it off. So it's easiest if you make sure that those curvy pieces next to the center. So it's you have to make sure they're straight, and that way that piece will just drop in there if they're straight. But if they're not straight, it won't fall into place. So you go ahead and put in the first three, and then when you get to the last one, it's really hard to get in unless you have those two out there, because otherwise, if you just take them out in the beginning, you're gonna just drop the edge in there, and then it's really easy to put in the edges, the inner pieces. But yeah, you can do that for every layer. It's kind of, especially the fourth layer, is even harder than the third, so you kind of have to do that. So now you finish the third layer. So now you finish the third layer, and the next step is to put on those edges that I just pointed to. It's basically the same thing as all the other steps. It's just now it's kind of flipped around. So I think I just go through and put on just that one first on all of them, and then I go back in and I put in the outer corner inner pieces. I don't really know what to call those pieces. Anyway, I just went into them. You're gonna put on all those. And I think I was also saying to leave off those two inner edge pieces, so that way you can put in the corner. But I didn't actually do it. I somehow messed it up. So then after, yeah, see, I didn't leave off those to make the last corner easy. So I actually, at the end, had to go back and take out two of the little inner pieces so I could fit in the edge, because it's really hard to squeeze the edge in there. Yeah. Okay, so that's the fourth layer. It's pretty much the same as all the others, but now the last layer is pretty tricky. Basically what you have to do is you have to put in the first edge, and you kind of have to build like a ring around it, and then you have to fill in all the yellows. But you'll see. So here we go. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the the symmetrical edge piece down there in the corner, and also the one of the straight inner yellow pieces. So you can see I have that one, and it would go right there in the middle. And then you take your straight inner piece, and you kind of connect them like that. Like you can just tell how they go together. Sounds pretty easy. But the reason you put in both of them is because if you don't, and you just make the outer ring, then you have to go back and you have to insert that. But it's really hard to put that one in there without messing everything else up. So it's easiest just to put it in the beginning. So after you get that, you just kind of build the ring. You're going to build the outer ring. Yep. Just make sure you put in the corners as you go along. It's not like the other ones. If you put in the edges first and then you go back for the corners, you won't be able to fit them in. So just make sure you're putting those in. Make sure you're putting the right ones in. And when you're finished, you should have something that looks like this. and then you're going to insert the inner pieces next. So take one of the corner inner pieces, and I think here I'm just explaining about like the right way to put it in. You want the piece that sticks out to be like towards the center of the cube. It won't fit in the way that I'm holding. You have to hold it. It won't fit in that way. You have to fit it in that way. Make sure that it's pointing towards the center. So then you can just stick it, like set it on that little edge, and you can just slide it back really easy. And then you do that same thing for the other side. Set it on that edge and slide it back, and don't drop it like I did. And also just be really careful on this last layer. It's super easy to just knock like everything off. Yeah, see, I knocked that off, I think, or I put a piece in backwards. But now you're gonna put in one of the straight inner pieces, just in there to fill that in. The same thing. Make sure the piece that sticks out is like touching the center. But pretty straightforward. So now at this point, you're just about done. You're gonna put in the corners like that, and now you're gonna put in the pieces two at a time from here out. You're gonna pair up one of the asymmetrical edge pieces, and I think I'm just talking about how you have to make sure you put it the right way. Yeah, you're gonna take one of the asymmetrical pieces and then one of the curvy inner pieces, and they'll fit together. And I think I'm just talking about how you make them fit together. So they should look like that, and it's really important that you put them together because otherwise they just won't fit at all. So once you have them put together the right way, you can just kind of pop them in the same way you'd pop anything in. Try not to let them like fall apart or anything. And if you need to scoot them kind of closer to the center, and then pop them in, and then scoot them to the side, that usually does the trick. So do the same thing on the other side. Just put them together, and then you can put them in like that. Pop them in, and then slide them over like that. Now you have your last two, and you're basically just gonna do the same exact thing. Just put them together and then pop them in. Except for this one, you're gonna have to push quite a bit harder, but it's not super hard. And you'll hear a nice satisfying pop, and you have reassembled your cube. So, yeah, I saw a couple tutorials, but I do it a different way, so I hope this helps you out if yours came shattered apart.